Hi, everyone. Welcome to Collaborwocky. We have a changed format. It's interesting because we talk a lot about collaboration, but the actual Collaborwocky wasn't that collaborative. So now, look at all the people. We've got lots of people here, and the goal here is each month we are going to record several episodes with guests. And it's going to be kind of like this ongoing panel discussion, kind of like a fun, ongoing conference where we tackle conversations about collaboration and visual management, humane management, making the work life better. And so I'm Jim Benson from Modus Institute, and with me is Tonianne DeMaria, Dave Pryor, Thushyanthan Amirthalingam, and... Wow. And Mark Kilby.
The simple
one. No one says wow when I can say Mark Kilby. So because this is our first episode and it's a little bit different, I'm Jim Benson from Modus Institute and the collaboration equation, personal Kanban, and that stuff. Maybe a quick set of introductions would be okay. So Dave Pryor, you want to take that first?
Hey, my name is Dave Pryor. I am a certified Scrum trainer, and I am somebody who's been doing personal Kanban badly for a really long time and with great success at being bad at it. And I am very psyched to be here. I'm also, I guess, an instructor. We call it. I forget what we're calling it, but I'm part of Modus Institute. Faculty. Sorry, part of Modus Institute.
All right, Thushyanthan.
Hi, everyone. Thushyanthan here. Thanks very much, Jim, for the nice introduction of my last name as well. I work in the education industry. No, it was really good, by the way. I work in the education industry. I've been there for a long time. I'm a Modus groupie, and I am a Modus faculty. And for those that don't know, I love Confluence, Atlassian's Confluence, and I love documentation. So that's my shtick. Over to you.
To Mark.
Mark Kilby here. A recovering Agile coach and consultant in many industries, as well as co-author of the book From Chaos to Successful Distributed Agile Teams, and working on finishing up a course with Jim on that very topic on distributed Agile teams.
Beautiful. And Tonianne.
I'm Tonianne DeMaria. I'm Jim's partner at Modus Cooperandi and co-founder of Modus Institute. Jim and I came together about 15 years ago, and we wrote a book called Personal Kanban. And now we have a school that focuses on the humanization of work. My focus primarily recently is on the psychology and neuroscience behind work. And I think we're probably going to be touching upon some of those topics today. And I'm super stoked to be working with these gentlemen here.
Awesome. Okay, so topic number one. It's Dave Pryor's ticket, so Dave Pryor can do the whole thing, the whole intro shtick.
So I know, Tonianne, that you're working on this, and this came up, I think, Mark, you and I, we might have talked about it on the guided personal Kanban class, but how do you track or manage energy throughout the day? And is there a way you can optimize it so you can kind of plan your day that way? So I kind of want to just kick it over to Tonianne because it's basically your thing, but it's something I've been wondering about.
Well, I think you and I first started talking about this. I think I made mention that I don't manage my time. Was that the context? That I manage my energy rather than my time?
Yes.
Yeah. I can't manage my time because, Jim and I, we've been working together for 15 years. We pretty much know each other's rhythms, and my rhythms don't match Jim's. So Jim loves waking up early in the morning, jumping in. He'll do some writing. He'll take some calls. That would kill me. I prefer to keep Sinatra hours. Don't ask me to write at 11 a.m. in the morning, but 11 p.m. at night, and I'm your huckleberry. Especially living on the West Coast, I get the most creative work done when the rest of the country is asleep and isn't calling or texting or posting or pinging me for something. So there was an article, I want to say in HBR, 2005, 6. And I think Tony Schwartz was a co-author. Don't quote me on that. But that talked about how hours in your day are finite, but energy isn't. And if I'm doing something that inspires me and I have clarity around the work that I'm doing, I can do, and if it's physical work, I could do that 18, 20 hours straight if I have to, as is evidenced by the absolutely insane December that I had hosting 4 dinner parties over the course of December. And I was like an Energizer bunny, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, still up. But I had clarity around the work that I was doing. My Kanban dictated every step of the way. And so I didn't have to really think about it. So I was just responding to the planning up front. When it comes to knowledge work, when it comes to, cognitive capacity, I'm okay around, I would say probably about 12 to 15 hours max. I know I can't push past that, but I'm good for that length of time because I have a system that keeps me straight. So a lot of our students at Modus will hear me talking about behavioral economics and specifically architecting my environment to trigger the behaviors that I need. And so we know from neuroscience that prioritization and planning are among the most cognitively draining activities any knowledge worker could do. So I make sure that, I architect my environment, my desk. I make sure that I every night have a Post-it or a couple of Post-its. I keep, my top 3 priorities for the next day, and I keep this on my desk every night. I wake up in the morning and I know exactly what my planned work is. Now, whether that survives, reality, we'll see. But I don't have to think about it the next morning. So I come in and I don't have to think about, what do I have to do? So I'm not draining my cognitive capacity there. And I also know what kind of work depletes my energy. So administrivia, I hate it. If I could outsource scheduling, which is one of the most thankless jobs ever, when Jim says something like, well, just set up a doodle. Anytime Jim says just, I know it's going to be a bigger job than it actually is. So tasks like that, I know are going to deplete me. But some of the other things that will help me architect my environment, especially post-COVID, and even as a former New Yorker, my environment, malls deplete me, being with certain people deplete me, not having rituals depletes me. So I try to have rituals every day. I rely upon my Kanban. I rely upon the people around me to hold me accountable. We have a huddle every single day. And the fact that I will let Jim and Dave know what my plans are for the day, that kind of reinforces what I have to do and will hold me accountable. And all of this really does help me conserve cognitive energy. Does that help at all? Talking about...
That's awesome. Yeah, I started out thinking there was only one thing to pay attention to, and now I got 4.
And to be honest with you, that the component that I've never really considered is the people component. What people am I around, and how are they draining me? And I'm not sucking up to all of you, but I will give all of you gentlemen credit. None of you make me feel guilty for not responding to you. So we have sort of a loose social contract, all of us, since we've been working together for a couple of years, in that in our Slack instance, you'll see that I'll have a tomato for Pomodoro next to my name, or you'll see that we'll have a video camera if we're recording something. And so I don't have to apologize to you all for not responding to you. You see it right there. And we respect that. It's an implicit social contract that we have. And I'm very fortunate to be working with people who don't cause me to feel I have to apologize. It's hard. And we also get a sense of each other's schedules. Thushyanthan knows if it's a Friday night at midnight and he sees me online, he knows he could jump on and have a conversation with me. He knows my schedule, and that actually helps. But he also knows if it's like 11 o'clock in the morning, I'm probably grouchy, probably doing administrative stuff, and he's just not going to bother me. I really appreciate that. So people don't drain me. I don't let people drain me anymore.
Well, part of the reason why we leave you to yourself is we really want to see that new class of yours. So.
Yes, thank you.
If you thought that was an awesome answer, folks, wait till you see her class. So.
That's it. So it's thank you, Mark, for that intro. Yeah, we're gonna be introducing another program like the LAVM, the Lean Agile Visual Management Program that we unveiled probably 3 years ago. Jim, was it?
Yep.
And it is essentially how to have and I'm careful. I'm still not sure if we're going to call it the productive mind, because I kind of stay away from the word productive when it has to do with productivity, because we're human beings, not human doings. But it's a highly interdisciplinary class, or program, I should say, that looks at the psychology of work, behavioral economics, systems thinking, a lot of neuroscience on how to be effective, and not just at work, how to integrate all the parts of your world. Because anybody who's spoken to me for more than 20 minutes knows I don't believe in work-life balance. I think it's an artificial bifurcation. I think what we need to find is a healthy integration. And so that is what this program will endeavor. So thank you for that plug, Mark. I appreciate that.
Sure. But coming back around to the question, and I'm not sure I heard this in your answer, but one of the things that I discovered is another thing that can drain my energy is if I'm really excited about a particular topic and I push myself too far. So I ignore my chronotype, and I'm just so into the topic, and then it's like I've messed up my sleep schedule. I've completely ignored my, what's on my personal Kanban because I'm so into a particular problem. So that's another potential energy drain for me.
Absolutely.
But if you've got that system, like she suggested, which I hadn't thought of this before, like designing a system that allows you to push the boundaries of it at times, so that you have like a ripcord you can pull for recovery. If you've got all that stuff in place, then you can, which I'm sort of like building that for myself right now. You can start to trust that the system's going to put you back together when you're like irresponsible with it.
Yeah.
The maintenance is self-maintenance is part of your self-governance.
Yeah.
I love that term, ripcord for recovery, because especially post-COVID, we have no separation between work and life. Not one of us is in an office that is not in our home right now. So how do we know when to disengage? So when I talk about architecting my environment, I talk, probably the first element of that, excuse me, is setting clear goals. I really like the idea of having a ripcord, having one of those goals being meditation in the course of your day, having walk in the course of your day. If you have to, actually put sticky notes on your Kanban that remind you to do those things so that you can replenish your energy, Mark. Excuse me.
I think part of that's respecting the system too. Like it's really easy to push it and to skip the self-care stuff. But if you're going to respect that you might not like it. I think of myself as like a machine, and I have to optimize the machine. So if I don't meditate, if I don't exercise, if I don't play guitar, it's like not oiling the machine.
But we need a system to make sure we're not doing that now.
Yeah.
Because again, I always go back to, and I'm dating myself here, Mr. Rogers. How do we know it's the end of Mr. Rogers' day? Well, when he takes off his jacket and he puts on his zip-up sweater, right? Mm-hmm. That clearly defines, okay, this is my time post-work. How many of us do that? Gosh knows. So I use that what is it called? Insight timer. And Dave will see me 3:00 in the morning. Tony's on the timer, and oh look, she's meditating again to can't get to sleep meditation, But I think that's really important, and especially those of us who are approaching a certain age. Sorry, Thushyanthan. Make sleep. I think that we should be having more conversations about sleep.
Yeah.
I think sleep is probably the most important tool any of us should be leveraging, and I don't think any of us are properly. And we're not having conversations about that.
Not in this society.
Yeah.
I was going to quickly chime in because at this stage of my life, I'm like the idea of managing the energy is, well, new to me, but it's something that I had observed like before I was doing things about, atomic habits and getting the goals and things like that. But it wasn't until after I really like I'm looking at my personal Kanban board over here, and I was looking over the last year of my done book and all of this, and I was noticing patterns. For example, like chunks of time where I'm active, like prefrontal executive decision making types of times. And I also noticed, like to Mark's comment, when I do get overly excited and I overuse that muscle of that executive functioning, and I do it in the early morning part of the day, I'm totally done for the remainder of the day, or at least until I can recuperate. And I've shared this with Dave Pryor before, but one of the ways that I recuperate is around 2 o'clock, which is now, is when my wife will leave her all the dishes and everything in the sink. And that's when I have time to do quote unquote, mundane tasks that actually energize and allow me to recuperate for the remainder of the activities when my evening time comes. So during, those sections of time where I have more activity, doing these mundane tasks and assisting with the housework and helping my wife and my children and all of that allows me to get that energy and manage it so I can do more for the rest of the day.
I was going to say, Thushyanthan, anytime you want to come recuperate at my house, you're welcome.
It's a bit of a haul to get to where you are, Mark, but for sure.
But plenty of dishes with 5 people. So,
Can I add one final point in case we move on?
I think everybody should vote.
Along with that, you have to, if you're aware of your time, like I know after I teach a class, there's like 2 to 3 hours where I'm not only exhausted, but really down. And I have to let that happen so that I recover from the class, because it's just part of how I teach. I leave everything in the room. So when I hit that part, it's not, I just have to wait it out. And if you have a system you can trust, you can do that too.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Collaborwocky. We're going to try and come out with these every week or so. It's a production of Modus Institute, www.modusinstitute.com, MODUSINST Institute. Oh, no, we can keep that. Everybody should know that this is the kind of situation we're in. So Dave, Thushyanthan, Tonianne, Mark, and myself, thank you all for attending. Please do subscribe. You can find this wherever your favorite podcasts are. And please do come and join us in the community. There's a free community there and then paid services as well. We've got hundreds of people who think and talk and work every day towards making the world of work a better place. So thank you all, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
see ya.
Thank you.